Alright, who's ready to do the morning routine? Are you sure? Money's a renewable resource. I am all the money I need. I am what it takes to be successful. It's all inside of me. I'm aligned with the divine because I am the divine. Yeah, I know I'm walking the fine line, but that's inside your mind. I ain't self-law and master, forecaster of my...
What's up, y'all? It's that time again. I'm Kevin Lloyd. I am here because it is time for another episode of Columbus Black on Blast. And I'll tell you what, I'm extremely excited because I have the opportunity to share with you all a really wonderful person that's doing some awesome things. As you all know, with Columbus Black on Blast, it's all about us highlighting movers, shakers, and creators that are making things happen and doing things here in our community. Remember to check us out on COLUMBUSBLACK.com. That's how you stay up to date with what's going on right here in the capital city. And for those that haven't done it, make sure you download the MILE app. MILE stands for Make Your Life Entertaining, and it allows you to find events, post events, share events, and promote events if you're a promoter, and get the word out. And it's all tied to where people are located and the updates and keeps them posted. So no more saying I missed out, I didn't know. Just download MILE, no more complaining, and make your life entertaining. All right. So on that note, without further ado, it's time for me to talk a little bit more about you. Right. So today we have Tia Ramey of Ramey Marketing with us here in the house, and we're about to put her on blast. So on that note, it's time for us to talk about you, Tia.
I'm ready.
How you doing today?
I'm good.
You
I'm
good?
How are you?
Good. I'm doing well. Doing well. So listen, we're gonna go through some of the basics, but we want to start off with making sure that everybody knows a little bit more about you, right? Mm-hmm. We've had an opportunity to connect and collaborate on some things, and now I want them to understand who you are, what you're doing, and go from there. So tell us about you, where you're from, all that good stuff.
Well, I am born and raised right here in Buckeye Nation.
Go Bucks.
Bucks for life, that's
right.
Love my city. And I have gotten my start. I went to college here, Columbus College of Art and Design, where there is a fashion design major, actually. So that's my undergraduate studies.
CCAD, huh?
CCAD.
Okay, some props.
Yes. I'm like, Liam Neeson in Taken. I have a unique skill set.
I see.
Experiences. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I've done a lot of things, and once I had to sit back, and find out where do I fit in, I decided that marketing is where I belong.
Okay.
Marketing is where business and art meet.
Nice.
Collide, So it allows me to marry both of those sides of my brain together and to create solutions for customers that would help them to expand their businesses and grow their companies.
So I picked up in there a little creative piece, right? So you have that creative gene?
Absolutely, absolutely. My family background, I come from a world of creatives, from musicians to artists, and my mother did a lot of art therapy growing up.
Oh, really?
As a kid. So I was always drawing every single day, and that has continued to go into my own bloodline. My own child. She draws every single day.
Really?
She's always creating something.
Okay, so those genes are strong in the past down, huh?
Very strong. I'm hoping to not have to pay for another art degree, but, it keeps on coming.
Okay, all right, well, we'll see. A matter of time.
We'll see.
Well, good stuff. So that's a little bit about you. Tell us, so what do you do? And you talked about this marketing piece and Ramey Marketing. I know people have seen the brand, but give us a little bit more about your business and what it is that you actually do for your clients.
Absolutely. So my business, we specialize in actually working with startups.
Okay.
That has been a very special niche for us.
Right.
I am a trailblazer at heart. I love being at the very beginning of a process and helping someone to bring out, their voice and their ideas and put that down and create it.
Okay.
So startups have been great, and we specialize in social media, even though I've been full service marketing and advertising, have done several things, radio, print, television. Social media is definitely where my heart has been and where most people contract me.
Okay, that's pretty compelling because obviously there's a huge demand for social media.
Yes.
And then when I think about startups, that's huge, right? So I think most of you know, but Columbus was identified by Forbes as the #1 startup city in the nation this year. So that's pretty exciting. So when you look at those two, you're in a pretty good space.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I usually tell my clients at the beginning that they'll work with me for so long until they're in that place where they're ready to hire someone. Once that person needs a job or they need regular help, then I will usually hand them our plan, our roadmap, and they'll take it from there. So I love working with startups. I love being a part of the beginning of a vision.
That is awesome. So let's talk about that a little bit, right? So real talk, because you're working with startups, and we all know business is difficult.
Yes,
right?
yes.
They talk about the amount of companies that don't make it or companies that go out of business within the first 3 years. Are there any words of wisdom that you would have for those that are, getting started, from a starter perspective, or people that are considering starting their own business, because a lot of people are looking to make that plunge these days?
Yes.
Any recommendations that you would have from a business standpoint?
Well, what I would have from a business standpoint is to say not to start marketing too soon.
Okay.
Just from my perspective of working with different startup companies, it's the first thing they say is I have an idea, and they go right to marketing. They don't really want to take the time and do the research, take the time to do the planning, or they want to find someone to write their business plan for them.
Okay.
And that's something you really have to do yourself in research. But you have to always remember that everything is sales.
Right.
So if you're not comfortable with sales, you're going to have to get really comfortable no matter what your product or service is.
Yeah.
And without a proper sales process, marketing doesn't work very well.
Okay.
So that is my words of wisdom, is to make sure that you are developing your sales skills and abilities, if that is an ambiguous space for you.
Okay.
And then come to marketing once you have gotten comfortable
Yeah.
with knowing how to close the deal and creating those smaller sales or greater sales ratios.
Right.
That's what helps marketing to be successful and to keep you from just throwing your money at the wall.
Okay. That's great advice. So thank you for sharing that with everyone. Hopefully you did get that. I know I've heard it a number of times. So the number one salesperson in your company has to be you, right? If you came up with the idea, you have to be able to sell it.
Right.
And then obviously, like you said, that's when you want to leverage the resources and do the marketing after, right?
Absolutely.
So proof of concept. Very good. All right. Look at you dropping knowledge, huh?
I try.
All right, good stuff. So then walk us through, right? So you are an entrepreneur. You started your own business and things like that. So when did you know that this was what you were supposed to do, right? Because going to school is one thing.
Right.
Going to get a job is totally different than I'm going to run my own company. So when did you know that's what you were supposed to do?
Well, I came from a sales job. Now,
Okay.
that's the world I came from, even though I was going to school for fashion design. This is at an awkward time in our country and our economy where we were in a recession.
Okay.
And there were no jobs for me when I graduated from college. So sales became important, and during that time, and a great time to train and learning how to work on commission.
Okay, right.
So I knew then after that, once the economy started to come back up, I was so used to living on commission that I knew if I needed extra money for things, you sell a little bit more and you're all right. But once I got a good job, so to speak, a salary, things come up, car breakdown, something happening, you can't earn more money.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't. Your salary is set.
It's tapped out, yeah.
That's when I knew that, I prefer reward-based income.
Okay.
But I didn't do well in the corporate environment anymore.
Okay.
And then on top of that, you got student loans coming in, right? So I knew that there was no way for me to be able to afford my student loans, be true to myself, and be able to have a reward-based income without starting my own business at that time.
Okay.
And it was a bit of an accidental stumble, to be quite honest, because my very first job in marketing came from a manufacturer that created a position for me. We literally were networking. I was having a conversation with a customer, and I was telling them about a paper that I wrote in college about how social media would be the wave of the future of customer service.
Okay.
And they asked me to interview, and they created a role for me doing their social media marketing.
How about that?
It was amazing. You just never know who you're talking to. You never
Created
know.
your own job.
That's my rule now. Always be on.
And we know why,
Always
right.
be on. So after I left that job, I told them, hey, look, this has been great, but no one is here to teach me, how to be better. And they asked me if they could continue to contract me.
Okay.
And they became my first client, and they're still a client of mine to date.
How about that?
So that's how
awesome.
I really got my start in entrepreneurship, is, leaving my job but bringing my job with me.
Okay, that's pretty cool. That's a great story.
Thank you.
Yeah, all right, good stuff. So outside of what you've been doing with the business, is there anything else that you do, like from a community standpoint, that you want to share so people understand that I don't just come and go to work, but there's other things that I do?
Well, you know what? My work is so much a part of me.
Yeah.
It's not my job. It's who I am. So I work a lot with nonprofits.
Okay.
What I do is I donate my time to a nonprofit every quarter.
Okay,
So
tell us about that. What do you mean?
I love to rotate around, so I'll work with an organization and I'll work completely for free and help them out with their social media strategy and sometimes with their social media marketing efforts.
That's
so
pretty
if it's
cool.
a cause that I believe in, I do not believe that money should stop the show.
Right.
You know, there's a greater picture when you donate and people have the resources that they need. They refer you, whatever the case might happen, it always comes back.
Yeah.
I think you should definitely be generous and care about people first. And when you care about people, they care about you.
How about
So
that? Full circle, huh?
Full circle. I stayed in business that way. Maybe it didn't make me the hungriest businesswoman, but
Yeah.
relationships are everything. So I do my best to build relationships with leaders in the community that are doing their best
Okay.
to fight for others.
Okay. Wow. That's pretty awesome. So, and I agree with you, right? I think relationships are critically important. So for those that are considering going into business, right?
Yes.
Any tips or wisdom that you want to share around the relationship? Like, how do you build relationships? People say that all the time, but then it's difficult for a lot of people to do that. So how do you go about building relationships?
Well, it's important to really try to get over the need. I'm an introvert by nature.
Okay.
By nature, I am. So, full confession.
Now, couldn't tell, by the way. All right. So, nice job.
Thank you. I have a very extroverted career, but my first nature is to be an introvert.
Okay.
And I remember, during that time of recession, and then on top of that, social media wasn't necessarily a profession when I came out, and I
Right.
wanted to start my business. I had to ask myself a very honest question.
Yeah.
And the honest question is, am I going to let, my fears get in the way of me having my dream? And that, and that's small things. You have to
Yeah.
make things small. I say make it small,
Okay.
because everything is so big in your head. So I
Yeah.
used to be really afraid to pick up the phone and call and ask someone to coffee or to, send out an email and tell them, hey, this is what I'm doing. That was hard for me to overcome at the time, and it seemed like a big deal.
Okay.
But I had to be honest with myself about whether or not I'm going to let one phone call stop me from feeding my family.
How about
Or
that?
stop me from having a roof over my head,
Yeah.
If that's all it takes,
Yeah.
then get it done.
Okay.
Get it done and get over it. So
Okay.
the question is, how much are you willing to get over so
Right.
you can really get over,
That's
and
awesome.
that's really, it's hard. There's a lot of getting over yourself in entrepreneurship and starting a business.
Yeah, I think that's important. So I appreciate you sharing that. And here's why I think it's important she shared that is I know that fear tends to have a huge impact on a lot of people making that first step.
Yeah.
There's a lot of great ideas out there. There are a lot of people who are in your shoes or were in your shoes where you used to be that are afraid to make that step. And I think Tia's statement is perfect, right? Because it tells you you have to weigh things out and you have to say, am I going to allow this to hold me back from all the success that I know that I can accomplish? So really awesome job. And I'm glad that you shared that.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah,
It's hard to do, but
Yeah.
that is what you have to. You have to be more afraid of not trying. And you really redirect what that fear is going to be. I became more afraid of going broke or
Right.
being hungry or failing my
Oh, yeah.
family.
That's where the fear should kick in, right?
That's where it is. It's like weigh it,
Yeah.
But I'm still afraid, to be
Okay.
honest. It still is hard every
Yeah.
day to do some of those things that are not really in me to do.
Mhm.
Even to go to a networking event, it's like, okay, shake it off.
Right.
Because my saying is, if you ain't greeting, you ain't eating.
All
You
right.
gotta
If
go
you
out and
ain't
meet
greeting,
people.
hold on. Let's go back for a second. Say that one more time.
If you ain't greeting, you ain't eating. That's
I
how
love
it
it.
is.
Yeah.
It's a numbers game. As many people as you can meet, as many people you can introduce yourself to, put a business card in their hand,
Yeah.
that's what comes back to you. Maybe 5% might come back and be a customer.
Yeah.
It might take 2 years.
Okay.
Sometimes people call, hey, I met you 3 years ago. It might take time.
Takes a little time.
But
Yeah.
you gotta go out, you gotta agree to eat. That's
Okay.
just how it is.
Very good. We're going to take that one with us, right? Agree to eat. So, well, then I want to go back because this fear thing has me for a second, right?
Sure.
Because while you've dealt with that, you've been able to overcome that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Where has faith come into to play with that as well, as far as fear? Because I see something that says prayer, the world's greatest wireless connection, huh?
Yes.
So thinking about prayer and faith, how has that helped you to overcome that piece and really go and greet in order to eat? Yeah.
Well, my faith is everything to me. I'll be
Okay.
quite honest. And even starting off my business, I don't come from the world of entrepreneurs at all. That's not the family I come from. My family was really freaked out about it.
Yeah.
My parents, my dad is a janitor.
Okay.
My mom was a state employee. So I
Okay.
didn't watch this life.
Right.
It was, for me, it took a lot of time, prayer and meditation. Not just prayer and asking for things, but
Right.
meditation to sit and put my mind on truths that I believe to be true. For example, what you sow, you reap, right?
Okay.
So I believed, God, that if I worked hard, if I sow this, I'm going to get it back.
Okay.
And which is why I donate my time.
Right.
So
which
that's
is awesome.
and it always comes back. It has not failed me yet.
Yeah.
And it's been almost 7 years now.
Wow.
I never know whether or not I'm going to be able to pay the bills next month. Sometimes, even still, that's hard. You know, sometimes your payables and your receivables don't add up.
Yeah.
You can send the bill, but you don't know when they're going to pay it.
And that's real talk.
You have no idea.
Did y'all hear that? That's real talk as an entrepreneur, right? So you expect to get paid, but it may not come when you think it's going to come.
It might not.
Yeah.
And cash flow is major for every entrepreneur. So that is hard as a reality.
Yeah.
But I tell myself, in my faith, that God knows what I need. He'll see to it that I have it.
Absolutely.
And every day, I just, it hasn't failed.
It works out.
It works out. It just does.
Amen. All right, so good stuff. So let's go into how, right? So we think about how do people get in contact with you if they want to leverage your services, your business? How do they reach out to you?
Well, of course, my specialty is social media. So I'm everywhere. You can find me on Instagram, Pinterest, Twitter, Facebook. I'm everywhere. You can just
all the
Google
channels.
me. RameyMarketing.com is my website. That's the #1 source for me. But I am a millennial, so you may not want to call. DM me.
How about that?
That's what we do.
She's a DM me.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. My phone number is on my website, but that is one of the best ways to get in touch. Follow me. I do lots of Facebook Lives that give away free marketing tips and advice. I love education. I'm passionate about marketing, but I love teaching. But I do a lot of, I want people to learn from mistakes that I've made, or presently might have just made it last week.
That's right.
Let's share.
But that's how you grow. Yes. That's how you grow.
Can't be afraid to grow.
Awesome. So I want to circle back real fast, and I'm going to open it up in regards to how we can help you. But for the people who are watching, if we said, hey, this is like your ideal client, or for them, this is who they need to reach out to, and this is why. What would be like 1 or 2 key reasons why somebody would want to utilize your services? Like, where would they be and what would they need?
Well, I've worked on a wide variety of clients.
Okay.
But I will say that I have done my best specializing with people who they know what they want, but they just need an extra push getting there. I am not a cheerleader. I'm a coach.
Okay. Coaches are needed.
Coaches are needed. So I always tell people, I'm your trailblazer. You know, I'll blaze that trail. I'll get you there. I'll coach you through. And there's a lot through the process of just many layers of starting a business and even getting to that place of marketing. So I do a lot of getting people to market. Let's develop the brand from start to finish. And then once it's ready to market, all the way down to research, we can take it out there.
Nice.
But my favorite place to be is in the branding process.
All right. Which is really important. A lot of people need that.
Absolutely.
Right? So now, here's the big question for you is how do we help you, right? So how does the audience help you to continue to be successful and achieve your future milestones?
Well, I would love for you to follow me and support me, refer me.
There you go.
I love referrals. And I love working with people who are social enterprises. That's important to me. I don't take on any client. I really have to believe in the vision that they're doing and what they're trying to sell and how it's going to benefit the community overall. So if you know of anyone that has a community-driven initiative and they just need some marketing support, someone that can fill that gap, I'm more than happy to be of service.
That's outstanding. All right, listen, y'all have heard it. We're here with Tia Ramey of Ramey Marketing. You all understand a little bit more about what she does and how she has an impact on the community. If you have a nonprofit, you may want to reach out to her because she does volunteer her time once a quarter to assist you in your efforts, right? So make sure you all reach out to her. She's mentioned how you can reach out through RameyMarketing.com. Is that it? Yeah. All right, very good. So I do have a question for you. Has COLUMBUSBLACK.com done anything for you?
Put me on blast.
There, y'all heard it, right? So we have officially put Tia Ramey on blast. One thing I want y'all to remember, in order to be more successful in your future, you need to understand a little bit more about your past. That's the reason why we just put Tia Ramey and Ramey Marketing on blast. Don't forget, check us out on COLUMBUSBLACK.com to find out about what's going on right here in the capital city. Download the Mile app, that's MYLE, to make your life entertaining. It's available both on iOS and in the Google Play Store. That's how you can find events, share events, post events, and promote events. And for our sponsor, Marlon Gary with Chapel of Peace Funeral Homes, please make sure you'll check them out when needed, of course, and check out the video at the end. Without further ado, I just want to thank each of you for spending the time to check us out, hear what we have going on Columbus Black on Blast. Special shout out to my man Cap City Nitty and the Ohio Media School for their support in helping us put together this wonderful production. And on that note, I'm out.
Alright, who's ready to do the morning routine? Are you sure? Money's a renewable resource. I am all the money I need. I am what it takes to be successful. It's all inside of me. I'm aligned with the divine because I am the divine. Yeah, I know I'm walking the fine line, but that's inside your mind. I ain't self-law and master, forecaster of my own fortune. That's why I speak with caution. Idle talk makes me nauseous. If it ain't about me and mine, we decline your invitation to bad vibes. I had my share of those in the past life. Ask for not, act right, say it loud. I am the greatest. Tell yourself I am the greatest. Like you mean it.
It's a wonderful tribute.
For a wonderful person.
Oh, yes. She was a horrible person. She was so kind and giving. Although she borrowed my cookware and never returned it. Everything is so lovely here.
She looks so beautiful.
My God, how did they make her look so good?
Mother.
Oh, I was just admiring all the beautiful work that you do here. See, that's why I would not let my family take me to anywhere else but Marlon Gary Funeral Home, Chapel of Peace.
That's right.
That's
it's
right.
Mighty fine.
Mighty fine.
Incredible.
Work. Yes. Marlon Gary Funeral Home, Chapel of Peace.
On your way to heaven, stop by here.
Ask for not, act right, say it loud. I am the greatest. Tell yourself I am the greatest. Like you mean it. I am the greatest. Act like you know. I am limitless with the melanin in my system. I can happy and do whatever I want. I'm never a victim. This is my kingdom.